Okay, so it turns out that Hey Hey was not pregnant. She's in heat, and Grizz has been all over her. And now he's so riled up, he is trying to get at the little one. So I need to block him off so he cannot get into their section of the barn, which should be pretty easy. The only way he gets in is because there's a little step there. So if I just up the wall a bit, we should be good. So let's go do it. Alright, so quick fix. Yes, it is an old door. It's what I plan on using as the back door for the barn. But for now, he uses this to jump up over the pallet. So it means bringing water in is going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass for a while. But just long enough to let this guy cool down. You dirty, dirty goat. What's wrong with you? You stink too. So, I mean, soon enough, I'm going to have to block this off. So each of the girls have their own kidding station. Like I said, this will be for Helga. This space over here will be for Dottie. And I'll probably block this off. I'll probably move this door and block this corner, this whole back space off for Grizz. So, let's see if we can get him away from those girls. Okay, so I'm very, very excited. So as I've said before, we're trying to build a silvopasture. And while it would probably be best to let whatever's there just pop up on its own, I lack patience, and so I want to give it a jump start. So I did order some seed to put in the silvopasture in the spring, and it's just arrived, so I wanted to show you what we're putting in the pasture. So let's get it open. So when I first priced seed and what we decided to put in there, one of the things I do want to put in the pasture is, Shadow, get out of the kitchen, is alfalfa. And when I priced it last summer, it was at $20+ a pound. And I was like, ouch, but as small of an operation that we have, I wouldn't need more than a pound. Because I'm not looking to seed a field of alfalfa. You know, I'm just kind of trying to supplement what's already there. So, I went and ordered the seed, and the price dropped dramatically. So I'm wondering if perhaps that original price, would you get your nose out of the seed box, Shadow? If that original price was just because everything was in season, but the price dropped dramatically, and I only paid $5 and some change for a pound of alfalfa seed. So let's take a look. He's such a whiner. I swear he's got the attitude of a cat. He's got to be in my lap for everything.
Actually, first I want to see what kind I am.
Oh, wait there, sweetheart. Back up.
Green.
Wow, a very large bag for a pound of seed, but that's okay. I will find a use for it. So, let's see. This one is red clover. So, some red clover. Not too shabby. And let's see, the next one. We have some Timothy. We have some crimson clover. Same thing, very large bags. That's a lot of seed. Look at all that. Like, these are not very big seeds. And finally, the alfalfa. I don't know if you can see that. Alfalfa. And voila. So I'm very excited. Now, obviously the next step is going to find a broadcaster and get all this mixed and ready to go. And then all but the alfalfa, I do want to kind of like fill in some bare spots in our own yard, which would be nice for the rabbit tractors we'll be pulling through the yard. Just to keep the goats from climbing on stuff. So we may keep the rabbits in the actual yard. I don't know yet. We'll see. So that is it. I'm so excited. I have other stuff to get going, and I promise I will take you along for that as well. But I just wanted to share with you that our seeds came in for the pasture, and I can't wait. So now I really need to get on fencing the next portion. Obviously I can't right now because everything's frozen. What I can do is clear fence line and get it. Alright, something else we're getting done today is getting a batch of furs into our salt and alum pickle. The last few years I have been using egg yolks, but at the moment eggs are expensive and my girls are not laying. So we are going to revert back to the pickle. I still have a bunch of alum that I picked up in bulk from a local Amish market for relatively cheap, and we are gonna do a salt and alum bath. I've done some videos in the past on how I do this, but I'll just kind of like update that. This deer hide is going to be a bit of an experiment. So I've got a bunch of deer hides that I skinned and salted from last hunting season. So they've been just rolled up and salted for a year. Mostly out of the weather. You can see down here there was a little bit of, a little bit of them the bugs got to them. But it's been, this one's pretty much thawed. It's not frozen. And there's no foul smell. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a try and see how it turns out. With these, I just simply shake as much salt off as I can. The salt and alum pickle, there's salt in it. So a little extra salt, from my experience, does not hurt. So what I am going to do is just open up all of these rabbit furs. So that way the skin is exposed, and then we'll get the solution mixed together. Okay, so into here, Shadow, I have 1 cup of alum and 1 cup of salt for every 5 gallons of water. So this is a 1 gallon pitcher. So I am going to get some water in here and make sure that all of this is well dissolved. So we will fill this with warm water. One, it's easier to dissolve these things with warm water, and with the hides being a little cool, it'll help open up the pores and let them soak in this solution. So I'll get this mixed up, and we'll see if 5 gallons will be enough to cover all of the hides. Because that's the key. You want them all submerged in... Oh no! Making a mess. You want them submerged... Can you grab those? I turned the knob the wrong way and just made a mess. But you want your hides submerged in the solution. Alright, so I had to do a second batch to get enough water to be able to soak 1 deer hide and 4 rabbit hides. So this is 10 gallons of water, 2 cups of salt, and 2 cups of alum. Now, the salt you want to use plain salt, okay? just plain salt, not the iodized kind. I don't exactly know why, but I'm assuming it's because it would discolor your hides. Because it's kind of the similar reason why it's not suggested for canning. Because the presentation gets a little cloudy with that. So, but I haven't tried it. I'm sure you could use it if you don't mind sacrificing a bit of color. So, and as you can see, yes, the water is dirty because the hides are still dirty. And that's okay. You don't have to wash the hides first because when this is done soaking, I'm going to have to wash it out anyway. We have to rinse the solution off the fur. You don't want the fur to be crusted with salt crystals. So it's going to need a good wash and rinse. So it looks like all of these are well saturated. So now I am going to weigh them down to get them submerged. So what I have here is just a few lids to some cheap dollar store bins that I was using earlier in the season. I had thought would make good water dishes for the rabbits in the tractors. But with anything plastic, the rabbits chew them to bits. And I am going to weigh them down with these bricks here. We just have these lying around. There's really no set process. I mean, some people will fill a 5-gallon bucket. Whatever works with what you've got to get these to stay submerged is all it takes. And it looks like I might need a few more bricks for each of these to keep these submerged. So I'll have to go get a few more bricks. But we will keep these, and this is pretty close. So maybe if I just fill the lids with some water, it'll be enough to weigh these down just a little bit more. Come on. There we go. Let's get some water in this one. There we go. That might do it. Then I'll just tuck these underneath. So these are going to soak for about 5 days is what I'm going to do. In past videos, I've done 7 days, but that was because the first 2 days were to soften the meat and the flesh because I hadn't fleshed them yet. These are all fleshed and ready to go. So I'm going to soak these for 5 days. Every day, twice a day, I'm going to remove these lids and bricks and thoroughly stir these hides. I mean, pull them out, dunk them back in to make sure every nook and cranny of each of these hides gets saturated in this pickling solution. So I'll see you with the next step back in 5 days. So until then, I hope your garden planning is giving you hope for the coming season.